All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're basically grabbing a set of blueprints to completely redesign the classroom as we know it. We're going to move away from that old one-size-fits-all model and build something totally new. A space where the learner is truly at the heart of the design. So let me just start with this question for you. What if a classroom wasn't just a place you go to learn stuff, but was a space designed by and for the students? I mean, really think about that. Instead of making kids fit into a box, what if the box itself could change shape to fit their needs? That's the big idea we're digging into. Now, to really get where we're going, you gotta know where we've been, right? The old school model is all teacher-centered. The teacher stands at the front, they have the knowledge, they give it to you. Simple. But in a learner-centered classroom, well, everything shifts. The teacher's role changes from being the sole source of knowledge to being more of a facilitator, a guide, a mentor. It's way less about just lecturing and way more about designing experiences where students can discover things for themselves. So, any good design has to start with a blueprint. And our first stop is the physical stuff. The walls, the desks, the actual room where all this learning is supposed to happen. Let's talk about how you can set up a room to make this whole new approach actually work. First up is what we'll call the focus zone. And no, this isn't just some quiet corner with a beanbag chair. This is a space that's intentionally designed for students to work on their own. It lets them move at their own speed, which is huge, and it helps them start to build a real sense of responsibility for their own learning. Okay, next, you absolutely need a collaboration hub. You can picture it, right? Group tables, clusters of chairs, whatever gets students talking to each other. The whole point is to make cooperation and teamwork the default, not the exception. This is where they learn how to share ideas, how to actually listen to someone else's point of view, and solve problems together. Skills you need for your entire life. And to round out the physical layout, we've got activity stations. Think of these as dedicated zones for specific, hands-on tasks. By encouraging students to actually get up, move around, and explore, we're changing learning from something passive you just sit and listen to into a really dynamic, engaging experience. Okay, so we've got the physical space mapped out. But you and I both know a classroom is so much more than just its furniture. Now we've got to talk about the social architecture, the new roles people play, and the new rules they follow to make it all work. See, when you change the space, the roles have to change too. The teacher isn't just a lecturer anymore. They become that facilitator we talked about. And the learner? They're not just a passive listener, not by a long shot. They are now an active participant, a collaborator, and maybe most importantly, the owner of their own learning journey. So with all these new roles, you might be wondering, how does this not just turn into total chaos? Well, the secret weapon here is routine. Having clear, consistent procedures creates this kind of invisible structure. It cuts down on confusion and makes the whole environment feel stable and safe. And when that happens, students can put all their energy into learning instead of just trying to figure out what the rules are today. When you really boil it all down, all of these pieces, the space, the roles, the routines, they're all working toward one thing. The goal is to create this social climate of fairness, of mutual respect, and genuine care. That's the foundation. Because when learners feel valued, when they feel safe, and when they feel motivated, that's when incredible things start to happen. And that brings us to the last and maybe most important piece of our blueprint, discipline. But hold on. We're not talking about punishment here, not at all. We're talking about building an operating system for the entire classroom, one that just naturally runs on respect and encourages positive behavior from the get-go. A really key idea here is something called logical consequences. This is a game changer. It's not about punishing a kid. It's about seeing discipline as a chance to learn. The consequence is always fair and directly related to whatever the action was. This helps students connect the dots and understand the impact of their choices. So instead of teaching blind obedience, it teaches accountability. It's a huge difference. So think of it like a toolkit for building that culture of respect. You start by creating class rules with the students so they feel a sense of ownership. Then you use those logical consequences we just talked about. And this part's crucial. You have to be consistent. Every time. It also means providing quiet spaces where a student can calm down and, importantly, allowing enough time for real resolution to happen after a conflict. It's a proactive system, not a reactive one. Okay, so we've gone through the physical design, the social structure, and that all-important operating system. Now, let's put all those pieces together into one final clear takeaway, your very own learner-centered blueprint. So, what are the absolute core building blocks? First, you need a flexible physical space that can adapt to different needs. Within that space, you have a teacher acting as a facilitator. That shift empowers the learner to become active and responsible. All of this creates a positive social climate, and the whole thing is held together by a discipline system that's built on respect and logical consequences. See how it all stacks up? And really, that's what this all comes down to. You can design a classroom to be a place where kids just learn facts. Or you can design a space that helps build futures. The blueprint is right here. The only question left is, which one are you going to design?